Welcome to the entrepreneur segment of the Leaderonomics show. And today we'll have with us Randolph Craft. Randolph, or Randy, welcome to the show. Now, Randy is known as the Renaissance, the Rock Age Renaissance man, and also a great entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurship journey and how you got to where you are.
Very rough, poor background when I was a child in America. I literally fled to Hawaii when I was 19 as an entertainer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was on stage.
And what did you play?
Played guitar, and I was a singer in the folk music.
Okay.
In the era in the 60s when we were protesting the Vietnam War, and there was a lot. It was very much a movement back then that was very powerful. And I was a folk singer. Went to Hawaii, and that was my first career in entertainment. And because entertainment didn't pay that well, I had to be in the restaurant business and drive cabs and go to college and be a surfer at the same time.
Okay. Sounds like you had a blast growing up.
It was, Hawaii's a very sweet place to be.
And then you're still in Hawaii, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so what happened? What transformed yourself into who you are today?
Actually, I did this program called. Actually, I was tricked into doing a program called Money and You in 1980, and there I found tools that I had migrated from entertainment, the restaurant business, into art, and I was doing sculpture, what I call commercial sculpture. Right now, our business, my brother and I have a business, and we create jewelry for buildings.
Wow. Jewelry.
Jewelry for buildings.
Okay.
And so the distinction between gallery art and what I do is that when they build hotels in huge places like they build right now, they have these huge spaces that need to be filled. And if you're an artist that is competent, there's many wonderful, incredibly talented artists in the world, but they don't know how to produce what they say they're going to produce on time, within budget, and they don't know how to make things that are huge. And that's called business. And so what I learned in the basics in Money and You was a planning and management system that allowed me to manage my art on a large scale. So within 6 weeks of doing this program, my income increased tenfold as an artist. And at that time, all I cared about was making money, sailing boats, and getting a date with a girl, and having enough money to do that. And through this program, I learned about the concept of consciousness in business. Actually,
what's that?
Well, that's being aware of more than yourself.
Okay.
It's being aware of it's actually caring for other people. Looking beyond yourself in terms of the scope of what you're concerned with and who you're working for. And then I went to the business school that's attached to Money and You. It's called the BSc, the Business School for Entrepreneurs. That's why I'm here right now. I'm teaching. You
teach at that school now, right?
Since 1982.
Okay.
Because I did the business school in 81, and then they asked me to start teaching in 82.
Right.
Give you an idea how old I am. And then in the business school, I met my mentor, who's of course passed since then, but known as one of the most successful human beings in modern times, Buckminster Fuller.
Buckminster, yeah.
He has a lot of history
in
fact,
Malaysia. He has a lot of history in Malaysia with the
with
the Penang Bridge and
Penang Bridge, but Penang Bridge, but he has a good friend that owns the hotel on top of Penang Hill.
That's right.
And they did a lot of. Bucky was a consultant to many government leaders back in the days of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. He was He was an advisor to Chairman Mao, and visited China 3 times, and to Khrushchev in Russia back then, and it was illegal to do that in America. Right. So Bucky would come to Asia first and stay with his friend that owned the hotel, and then go from there and be an advisor to many of the leaders in the Asian during the Vietnam War.
So Bucky became your mentor?
Yes.
Okay. And so his life inspired you in some way or form too?
Incredibly inspired me, because Bucky cared. He worked for everybody. So your logo, for instance, is a geodesic structure. Bucky designed the geodesic dome. He's the most built architect in the world. He wrote 31 books. He did not graduate from college. He was kicked out of Harvard twice, and when he passed, he had 55 honorary doctorate degrees from universities from all over the world, 150 university fellowships. He was known as the grandfather of the universe. He gave lectures at the United Nations for many countries. He was an advisor to many world leaders.
So how do you become like that? I mean, you sort of exemplify him. You're in entertainment, you're in architecture. And
I just
later,
I try to be a translator to Bucky to bring him to other people.
Right, right.
And what we were working on doing is bringing his message to young entrepreneurs. His primary message is that he proves that our world is not a world of scarcity. There is far more, there's an abundance of resources to be able to take care of people, but it's the mindset of scarcity that makes people hoard. And when Bucky says, when it's you or me, then there will be weaponry. And so now we're in a world where people, especially the country that I come from right now, are doing very unnice things to other countries in the name of dominance of oil because they think there's not enough oil. And the truth of the matter is the earth is producing more crude oil than humans could ever pull out of it in any way, shape, or form.
And so what, I mean, scarcity, so we should be looking at something else, right? Instead of hoarding and scarcity?
It's an abundant world. Wealth, one of the premises that most people, you'll never see in any business school, is that wealth always increases. Wealth is a combination of the physical world and knowledge. And our knowledge is always increasing. And so we're learning how to do more with less, faster and faster, actually faster than the population is growing. But the concept of scarcity would have people try to hoard things and not well, sharing is kind of like a when you say share, people think of hippie missionary kind of kumbaya. It can be done in a very a business sense where the distribution of products and services that provide value are distributed in a prudent business manner where good business deserves a fair price and a fair profit for a fair product. And all humans across all the world are willing to exchange whatever they have for a product that provides value to them for a fair price. And that's good business.
Is that what you teach?
That's one of the things that we teach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know you also teach planning, and you
operational planning is a tool I learned in the business school, and it actually came from the military.
Right. Also some sales automation, and there's a number of things that you teach, right?
Yes.
So I mean, I'm very curious. Is how did you get so much depth into so many areas? All through your life. I mean, many people end up living 60, 70, 80 years and they just do sales or they become experts in one area, but you have such a wide array of abilities and skills.
It's a concept called productive leisure.
Okay.
And when I was in Hawaii as an entertainer when I was young, I saw this couple in front of me. They were about 40 years old. And then that was ancient to me. Now I'm 65, that's so ancient. They had saved up all their life to come to Hawaii, and they were arguing and about money and stuff, and I was practicing my guitar, and I said, I never want to be that way. I was 19, I said, I'm going to retire now, and maybe when I'm their age, I'll see if I can get a job. And so I retired when I was 19, except I didn't have any money. So then so how do you do that? So I said, well, whatever I like doing, I have to find a way to at least have it pay for itself. Right. So I liked playing music at that time, and so I was able to become a professional entertainer and get paid for doing that. And then I learned I like to sail. in the sailing world so that my sailing money would pay for my sailing.
Right. Right.
And so whatever I like doing, I find a way for it to support itself.
Yep.
And as long as you do that, then you're sustaining whatever you like doing.
Yep. Yep.
And one of the things that Bucky says is that if you operate with integrity and your work and you're not selfish, you actually care for others outside of yourself. Right. He says you will do what you see needs to be done because you feel like doing it. There'll be no question at all about earning a living. You see, most of the world in scarcity thinks they have to earn a living.
Right.
And Bucky says the only creatures on the planet that know what time it is or think they have to earn a living are humans. So he says if you get out of that mindset, and it's not a gift that comes to you. You have to make up your mind and then work at it and practice, just like learning how to surf, learning how to swim, learning how to ride a bike, whatever. You have to make up your mind you want to do it and then go one step at a time and learn it. And so this is the process of saying, I'm going to get out of the world of thinking I have to earn a living. And there's not a lot of agreement about that around, you know.